Well, when it comes to her family, this woman is ride or die. However, this stepmother has definite opinions about her stepchildren, and they're not always good, depending on who you ask.
Ward, there's something wrong with him, okay? Been ignoring it since he was 10 years old, but there is something wrong with Rafe.
Stop it, Rose. Okay, please. I'm asking you to stop.
You always told me, think 3 moves ahead. Well, I'm thinking. And if you can't keep Sarah from testifying, you're gonna have to make a choice. Rafe or Sarah.
I can't choose.
Well, if it comes down to it, and you can't make the decision, I will.
Ooh, if you're not scared, I am. Well, here to talk about all things Outer Banks is actress Caroline Arapoglou. Woo, 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 woo.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning.
All right, so I did ask you earlier because I saw the clip before you came on, and I said, I'm afraid of Rose Cameron. Should I be afraid of you? But I saw your smile, and I already know the answer. I should.
No, you don't need to be afraid of
right?
me. You need to be afraid of Rose, but not me.
Right, we know, but when I say audiences are so into Outer Banks, I mean that in every way, shape, and form, because people are invested in the show, people are out of control about the show, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I mean, there's a lot of mixed opinions on Rose specifically on Twitter and on social media, but I love it because it just means we're doing our job. And if you hate the characters or you love the characters, that's what makes them fun to play, getting to play both, you know?
All right, so let's talk about Rose Cameron, because she is a pretty complex human being. And I read something where someone says she's slowly climbing up the ranks of villainy. But even though they think of her as a villain, I see it differently because it's usually for a good reason. She's protecting the people she loves. You know what I mean? So it makes sense if I'm playing devil's advocate here.
No, I agree. I mean, you know, it's my job to kind of get into her head and defend her actions. So I could defend her actions for an hour and sound like a crazy person. But no, I mean, she's doing everything that she does for her family, and she's kind of backed into this corner where she's making maybe not the best decisions, but she feels like she has no other choice. So that's where she's coming from.
Well,
I don't know if that makes it more defensible.
Yeah, but being on a hit show, you know, fans are usually open about what they like and dislike about a character, especially when it comes to Rose. So what do you love and not love about Rose?
What I love about Rose is she is confident and she's strong. And when she makes a decision, she commits. Like, she does some crazy things this season, but she does them with conviction. And that's really fun to play. What I don't love about Rose, that's a good question. There's not much that I don't love about. I really do love her. I've spent so much time like trying to understand her. Trying to think. She wears heels all of the time. That I don't love.
You don't like
makes
heels?
for a very long work day.
All right, so I have to ask you, Caroline, have they given you your own reserved parking space over at Netflix? Because this is not the only Netflix hit you have on your hands. So I think they had to have a reserved for Caroline, because why not?
I gotta keep it real. I do not have a reserved parking
What?
space. If I get to work early, I can sneak into one of the guest spaces. But if not, I'm shuttling with everybody else.
Well, since stranger things are happening, you deserve your own, is all I'm saying.
Thank you.
That's why.
Hey, if you want to send that memo to Netflix,
I will. I do memos all the time. So first of all, as a fangirl of like, I'm a fangirl of Beyonce. She's never invited me to be on her videos or to do anything with her. But you were a fan of Netflix of Stranger Things before you got on it.
I was. That's the first show I've ever done that I went into it as a really big fan, and it was kind of an exercise in compartmentalization because, you know, when you're working, you have to kind of put that aside a little bit. But yeah, there was definitely a moment of like looking around at the sets because they're so transformative, and, you know, seeing my hair and makeup and being like, oh, this is Stranger Things. So yes, that was thrilling.
All right, by the way, let me let you know that as I'm making sure you're getting your reserved parking spaces in the biggest movie studio lots across the country and around the world, I will be making sure I'll be getting restraining orders as usual because of my stalking, which I did recently on your Instagram, and I found you're a theater lover because you post a lot of playbills. Yes. So is there, so what are you dying to see when Broadway reopens?
Oh my, you know what? I'm dying to be in any audience. You know, that moment when the orchestra tunes up, I don't care what I'm seeing. I just want to be in an audience with other people knowing I'm about to see something magical. I don't care what it is.
I know.
I'll see anything. I'm just so excited to be back in those seats.
It is always magical. But you know what? You shocked me. You had me questioning myself and my stalking abilities because someone somewhere told me that you like to bake, and on your Instagram, I could barely find any baking pictures.
You know what? I did a lot of baking during quarantine and during early lockdown. But yeah, I guess I need to get back to posting a little bit more. I'll make a note to next time I make something that looks great, I'll post it.
Oh, post it and then figure out a gluten-free bread recipe, and then you share it with me when you come back again.
Oh,
for season 3 of Outer Banks.
Okay. That's
season 3. All right. I'm keeping my fingers and toes crossed for you, Caroline. Thank you so much for chatting with us this morning. Season 2 of Outer Banks is currently streaming on Netflix. Go hang out with her character, Rose Cameron. She's crazy, but you're going to love her. Bye, Caroline. Bye-bye. Nice to meet you.